Good morning. Welcome to the Travel and Tourism Teleclass for Grade 10. Myself Anisha, Travel and Tourism teacher at Feather School, Addu City. In today's class, we are going to discuss on place as part of marketing mix. In the previous class, we started this topic. I am going to continue the topic in this lesson also. Before I begin the class, I have a small update for you from the travel and tourism industry. I have a message for you from the UN Secretary General. Let's listen to his speech.
As the world faces the devastating consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic, the tourism sector is among those being affected most severely. Travel is down, fear is up, and the future is uncertain. Tourism is an essential pillar of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The livelihoods of many depend on it, especially women, and particularly in the world's most vulnerable countries, including small island developing states and least developed countries. Moreover, in many parts of the world, the protection of biodiversity relies heavily on the tourist sector, from conservation to the revenue generated by those efforts. Tourism can be a platform for overcoming the pandemic. By bringing people together, tourism can promote solidarity and trust, crucial ingredients in advancing the global cooperation that is so urgently needed at this time. The United Nations World Tourism Organization is strongly committed to this work. I encourage all those involved in the tourism sector to explore how we can recover better, including through climate action and other steps that advance sustainability and build resilience. On our journey towards a better future, we must uphold our pledge to leave no one behind. Thank you.
You heard it? Yes. Travel and tourism industry is having a lot to do when we are overcoming from this pandemic period. Now, let's go to the lesson. Let me share the learning intentions first. Students, you will be learning about the factors that influence the choice of location for travel and tourism establishments or organizations. Success criteria. Students, you will be successful if you can identify the factors that influence the selection of a location for travel and tourism organization. We discussed 3 points in the previous class, and in today's class we are going to discuss 4 more points. Now, at the end of the class, you will be successful if you can effectively answer a past paper question related to place as part of marketing mix. Before I begin today's lesson, let's have a quick recap of what we learned in the previous class. So, we learned that place is the third component in the marketing mix, and we also learned that place is having 2 considerations in the marketing, where the first consideration is the physical location and the second one is the chain of distribution. We were concentrating on this particular topic, the physical location, where physical location means the exact location of a facility or a destination. Now, the second part we learned was the factors that influence the choice of location of travel and tourism organization. So, in the previous class, we discussed 3 points. First one was cost, the amount of money which an organization need to spend when starting a new establishment. It purely depended on how much the organization had kept aside for getting the premises, as well as how much the owners of the premises are going to charge the organizations for selling that particular land. So, if an area is well developed or if it is potential developing area for a tourism development, definitely the land prices will be very high. The next factor we learned was the availability of suitable premises. Different organizations need different premises. So, when the organization start a new establishment, they will check whether that premises are suitable for their establishment. And the third one was the character of the area. The negative things which are happening in a destination is definitely going to affect the tourist arrival to that particular destination. So, the character of the area is very crucial because no tourists want to risk their life, especially when they are going on a holiday. So, these are the 3 points we discussed in the previous class. Now, in today's class, we are going to discuss from the 4th point. Let us see what all are they. The 4th factor is the local and transient population. Population means people. Now, when an organization start their new establishment in a destination, or when they choose a destination to start their new establishment, they need people to access their facility very easily. Why they need people to access their? One is they need workforce, they need people to work in that particular establishment. Second one is they need potential customers. The organization is set up in the destination not only targeting the tourists who are going to come there, they need people from the local population also to be potential customers. So, if they want the local people as customers, as well as if they want to reach this establishment as workforce, you need one main important thing in the destination, which is the infrastructure or adequate infrastructure, we can say. What is this adequate infrastructure which is required, which is going to help the customers or the workforce to reach the establishment is the transportation links. The destination should have proper, sufficient or adequate transportation facilities which is going to help in this particular process. Now, let us discuss this with an example which is very familiar with you. You know this Costa Coffee outlet in Male, which is right in front of the international airport? Do you think that this particular organization or this particular establishment is there targeting the tourist only? No, definitely not. They need people to access this coffee shop. The local people also need in your notebook access this coffee shop. You need to customers. Write down. Definitely they need people to work in the coffee shop. They can't bring people from outside world from other destinations to work in their outlet. They need even staff from the local destination, from the local area to work in their premises. So, for that particular reason, you need transportation facilities. Now, I have an activity for you. In your notebook, I want you to list down 2 ways in which this facility is accessible to the local population. I hope this is very easy for you. So, I am going to give you 20 seconds to write down how the local population can reach the Costa outlet. The time starts now. Time up. Now, let us see what are the possible answers or which all points you can write for this particular question. The outlet is easily accessible with these modes of transportation, which is speedboats from Male, the capital city, then airport ferry is there, bus which is the MTCC, airport express which is inside the particular island where the airport is located, and as well as car or taxi is also used to reach this particular outlet. You can even write down any other method of transportation which you can use to reach this particular outlet. The second point is adjacent facilities. When an organization decides to start their establishment in a particular area, the factor which they also consider is the adjacent facilities there. Now, what are the adjacent facilities? What else is there in close proximity to a selected site for tourism development? What are the other facilities available in the area? Now, for a tourist attraction, whenever you go near a tourist attraction, you always will see cafes, restaurants, bars and all near that particular attraction. Why they are there? Yes, they are there because the tourists need those additional facilities. The tourists are going to use these facilities, which is going to make their trip enjoyable when they are in that particular destination. The organizations also consider the competitors in that particular destination. That's the reason when you go to a city center, you can find lot of travel agents. This is an example which I am taking here. Cluster of travel agents. You can find lot of travel agents offices in a particular city center. Why they are there? Because they identified that in that particular area, since lot of travel agents are there, more tourists are or more customers are going to come there for their travel needs. So, if they start a new establishment over there, it is going to be easy for them to get new customers. There is another one more consideration when the factors or in there is one more consideration is there when it comes to the adjacent facilities, especially when it is related to the tourist attractions. There are some destinations, if you go to that particular city or a particular area of the city or that particular destination, you can find in the close vicinity, you can find different attractions. For example, I belong to Trivandrum. In my city, if you go near the zoo area, you can find the zoo, the museum, the art gallery, the observatory here. Like that, many tourist attractions are located in the same area. Why they are placed like that? Definitely, it is going to help the tourists to travel from one attraction to the other without wasting much time. So, that is a benefit for the tourists if the attractions are also placed nearby. Understood? Okay. Now, let us go to the next point. Organization consider when choosing a location is the availability of transportation links. When a destination is identified, definitely there will be a lot of tourists coming to that particular destination for different tourism activities, and the destination should have satisfactory land transportation networks with sufficient carrying capacity, which will be enough for handling any number of tourists coming to that particular destination. So, this is going to make things easier when the tourists are, when lot of tourists are there in a destination. So, depending on the destination, depending on the number of tourists coming to that destination, the local authorities should make sure that there is proper infrastructure facilities arranged for the tourists. Now, I will show you a video which is about the local transportation facilities in Dubai. I want you to carefully watch this video. Okay? Now, let us watch the video. So you watched that video carefully, right? Now I have an activity for you which is based on this video. Let's see that question. Activity is, I want you to identify the public transportation facilities available in Dubai. You have your notebook, right? Write down which all transportation facilities you had seen in this video. I am going to give you 30 seconds for this one. The time starts now. Time up. Now let's see which all public transportation facilities were available. So you got all the points? Now if you missed anything, you can just write it down in your book. Now let's go to the next factor, which is the last factor. The next point is availability of staff. Today when we started the lesson, the first factor when we discussed it, we already said that staffing is very important. For an organization to run smoothly, to make sure that the customers are satisfied, there is no complaints, they need to have staff who are experienced. Now, when an organization choose a destination, they make sure that they are located close to the source of this particular staff. That means wherever the establishment is located, there should be areas nearby from where people can come and work in the establishment. What if the destination is not having enough employees? That means an organization needs skilled and experienced employees. What if an organization couldn't find the place where there is no experienced and skilled employees? The organization will hire people from the outside countries or from the foreign countries. For some time they need this particular facility to be run with the expatriates because they want the local people to get trained and to have or to develop their skills on the employment. So until that time they will be hiring staff from other countries. Now we already discussed in grade 9 in the economic impact about the economic leakage which is going to happen when we are hiring immigrants to work in a destination. What happens is when immigrant workers work in a destination, a major portion of the money which is given to them in the form of wages or salaries are going to leave that particular country's economy because the staff is going to send money back to their own country. Wherein if the employee was from the destination itself, whatever money they are receiving as say wages or salaries are going to be within the country. They are going to spend it within the economy. And then we have a positive economic impact there. Do you remember what was that positive economic impact if the money is within the country only? Yes, it is multiplier effect. The disadvantages of hiring skilled or experienced employees from foreign countries or bringing immigrant workers is a negative economic impact. Okay. So organizations always choose a destination where they can find employees within the close vicinity so that they can employ the local people and the money stays within the economy only. So, that is the last factor which an organization consider when they are choosing a destination to start their new establishment. So, in today's class we discussed 4 points and in the previous class we discussed 3 points. So, which are the points which we discussed? So, we discussed 7 factors which an organization consider when choosing a location to start their new establishment. So, the factors are cost, availability of suitable premises, character of the area, local or transient population, adjacent facilities, transport links, and last is the availability of staff. I hope it is very clear now for you. Now, let us do a past paper question. I want you to write down the past paper question number. So, you can write the answers later in your past paper booklet and you can send it to your teacher. So, the question is from 0471 22 October November 2015. It is question 2D. Discuss the factors affecting the choice of location when developing a tourism facility such as a visitor center to support mountain tourism. Now, this is a 9-mark question. As explained in the previous class also, for such a question you need to write an introduction, a valid conclusion and 3 points need to be explained. Now, in this particular question, the key points which you need to identify is the facility is the visitor center and the location is a mountain region. So, these are the things you need to consider when you are answering this question. Let us see which all points you can use here to answer this question. The points you can use to answer this question is the natural features of the area. Definitely it is a mountain tourism. So, definitely you need to find out which are the features in that particular area which is going to help or which is going to attract the tourists to that particular destination. Then the cost of land, the accessibility, how the tourists as well as the customers or the guests can reach that particular visitor center, available workforce, whether the destination is having enough staff members to work in the establishment, the local population. As I told you, we need local population as workforce as well as potential customers. And the last one is adjacent facilities. What are the supporting facilities which is nearby in this mountain area which is going to support the visitor center which is going to be opened there. So, I hope you got all the points. You need to write 3 points. Okay, you need to explain 3 points. Now, let us go to another question. Here the question code number is 047122 again. It is October November 2016. Question 4D. Evaluate the importance of character and features of the area as a factor when determining the location of a tourism facility. We already discussed in the previous class where we discussed the character of the area in a question, and now here they are asking the character as well as the feature of the area. So, you have to include these 2 points there. Now, let us see what all points you can write. Since they have asked the features of the area, you can include the natural features, the man-made features, and the character of the area is there. So, definitely the crime rates, the influence of crime rates you have to write, and the cost of living or the standard of living in the area is also one factor which need to be considered in this answer. So, you need to write an introduction, a valid conclusion, and you need to explain 3 points. Now, about this particular topic, place as part of marketing mix. Nowadays, we are getting 9-mark questions from the factors itself. So, you need to be very clear with all the factors which is affecting the choice of location. Be ready to write a 9-mark question answer or an evaluative question answer for each factor. So, collect information which is going to help you writing the answer. So, we came to the end of the lesson. Now, it's your turn. Make sure that you achieve the success criteria. You can identify the factors which influence the selection of a location, as well as you can effectively answer a past paper question related to place as part of marketing mix. I have some activities for you after the lesson. Now, I want you to read page number 209 to 211 from your textbook. There is a case study in 211 which is related to staffing. I want you to do the past paper, 2 past paper questions we discussed here. Write the answers of that and send it to your teacher. That's all for today. See you all again with another lesson. Until then, stay home, stay safe, strictly follow whatever the instructions which the authorities are giving you, and do some exercises also. Take care. Thank you.